Am I the a-hole for outing my ex as gay to get his mother off my back? It's a long and sucky story. But my 25 female soon-to-be ex 28 male is gay and hid that from me. I found out because I caught him cheating, and he as much as admitted that he knew he wasn't attracted to me that way, but he wanted kids and a normal life. I don't care that he's gay, but I will never forgive him for leading me on so he could use me to have kids. So it's over. End of story. The problem is that his family are fundamentalist nutjobs except for a few members, and his mother is the interfering mother-in-law from hell. Not being related to her anymore is another plus to leaving. His family doesn't believe in divorce, so under the guise of picking up some paperwork and other items I had found that were my ex's, she courted me about how I'm being childish, and that marriage is about commitment, forgiveness, and working through problems, etc. It became apparent that my ex didn't tell his family that he cheated. He told his mom that I was divorcing him because we weren't being intimate often enough for me. I tried to be patient and explained that he had cheated, and that's why. I wasn't going to go into greater detail because I know how his parents are, and it's none of their business. Mother-in-law's advice? I kid you not, was that men are just that way. And if I wanted to have intimacy more and for him not to stray, that I should make myself more attractive to my husband and be a better wife. I lost the plot completely. It had been a sad and hard day already, and that was the last straw. Here's where I might be the a-hole. I told her that the only thing that would make me more attractive to my ex would be a sex change operation, and that I hoped he and his boyfriend adopted her some grandchildren, so she could finally shut the hell up about it. Not my finest moment, but she just hit the worst and rawest nerve she could have, and I exploded. It's evidently turned into a huge family drama. He's probably going to be disowned, and my ex called sobbing that I've ruined his life out of spite. I don't really know how to feel about it. I do feel bad for him that his parents are such awful people, and there were just no good outcomes for him. But I also feel like he made his own bed here too. Edit. A couple things from comments. 1. There is almost no chance of violence. His family are fundies, but not violent ones. They're more of the Mormon shunning type. One of his cousins came out and left the church. And after the initial protests, they all just stopped talking to him and basically treated him as if he were dead until he was ready to repent or whatever. They're passive-aggressive, repressed, and weird as all get out, but the chances of anyone physically hurting him are extremely low. He's not financially dependent on them and has a more than decent job, so he can support himself easily if they kick him out. 2. He's known he was gay since before he met me, so this wasn't a new discovery or admission to himself. He has a boyfriend that he's been dating since 6 months before we were married. I went through his computer after catching them in the act and kicking him out, and found messenger logs and other evidence going back to before he started dating me. He literally set this up so he could have the nice Mormon family to surface to keep his family happy. That's it. Never loved me at all. I was just the first girl to express a sustained interest. Now for the top comments. Probably unpopular opinion, but not a-hole. He got pushed into a corner and blamed for the demise of their relationship, which was ultimately because of his dishonesty. You didn't do it maliciously. Also, he wasted years of your life for selfish reasons, and I personally could never forgive that. Opie was being constantly harassed, blamed, and basically defamed because her ex blamed her for everything. It wasn't malicious to out him, and he should have taken more accountability for his role in all this. The fact he plainly stated that he only married her to have a kid is beyond disturbing. It automatically makes him the a-hole, no question asked. You do not dehumanize a person and treat them as a breeding animal for your own purposes because of your hidden sexuality. Inexcusable. I think this is where I am. All he had to do was tell his family it wasn't working and they made their decision. Instead, he let them drag her to save himself. I think I agree too. This is one of those situations where I could imagine kinder ways for the OP to have handled the situation, like warning her ex in no uncertain terms to get his family off her back before telling them the truth. And even that is assuming he wouldn't just preemptively make up worse lies about her. But in the real world, I can't really fault her for just defending herself in the moment. It sucks that his family is intolerant, but that's not the OP's fault. It is also not her fault that she was in a position to feel like she had to defend herself. Her ex put her in that spot by trying to save face at her expense. Not a hole. Edited to add, a more controversial take, you could also consider the OP outing her ex as a huge favor to his next would-be incubator. It is a kind and greater good thing to try not to out a person as it can be physically dangerous, but he also hasn't really earned any kindness from you. He is the a-hole that A. cheated, and then B, lied about the reason why to his parents, leading to his mom harassing you. And is also the a-hole that was planning on essentially tricking you into a lifelong commitment, while he likely would have been cheating the whole time had he not gotten caught now. So yeah, you're not the a-hole. Yeah, he's been cheating on me for the entirety of our relationship. It has a boyfriend he's been with longer than we'd been married. He literally intended to use me for kids and to keep his parents off his tail. And he made me feel like I was the reason we were having bedroom issues in the marriage, when it was him the entire time. See, that's really messed up and kind of emotionally abusive. But I have sympathy for people born into crappy families like that hinder their ability to live out their lives how they want. But he also just sounds like a trashy person regardless. He could have been honest with his parents and taken full accountability saying he cheated, living out with who. Then his mom might not have been harassing you. And people saying you ruined his life over a temporary situation? He would have taken up your whole life with a fake marriage and children, while cheating and manipulating you into thinking there was something wrong with you had he not gotten caught. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay my ex's child support? This actually happened last night, but it has been bugging me since it happened. I feel like the a-hole, but I also don't. Long story short, I am separated from my soon-to-be ex-husband. We were together for 10 years, married for 6. We have been separated for about 2 months after it came to light that he was cheating on me with a 19-year-old and broke his 4-year sobriety. We have 2 small children, a 5-year-old and an 11-month-old. I also have an 11-year-old stepdaughter. My ex said his ex-wife's marriage was annulled before I ever came into the picture. For the entire time I was with my husband, he paid $900 a month in child support, sometimes even more. When my oldest was 2 weeks old, he gave his ex $3,000 because she was several months behind on rent and was facing eviction. With my stepdaughter, it was always on us to get her new school clothes, supplies, shoes, etc. because her mother would just forget. Now with my husband just up and abandoning us, it has put me in a financial bind. I am on a fixed income/student stipend. I'd only receive $1,300 a month. I have filed for child support through my state, but who knows when I'll begin receiving it. Last night, out of the blue, his ex messaged me. Apparently, when my husband abandoned us, he stopped paying his child support too. He has not paid for November, nor will probably pay for December either. His ex asked me to pay his back and current child support. She and her new partner have 1 child already, and she is expecting again. She told me how they were counting on that money to catch up on bills/take care of Christmas. I told her no, there is no way I can do that. I have my own 2 children to care for. I am barely surviving as it is. While my ex is still paying the mortgage, I am responsible for utilities and such. I can't help he has decided to not pay child support. She called me selfish, an a-hole, and accused me of not caring about my stepdaughter, then threatened legal action to make me pay. At that point, I rolled my eyes and stopped responding. Part of me feels bad that I can't help her, because I know my stepdaughter is the one who will suffer. But part of me is like, well, tough luck, because both she and her partner work full-time. I'm a full-time student/stay-at-home mom, who was thrust into single motherhood by my ex having his midlife crisis and just screwing off. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, and do not pay. I understand it's an awful situation and you obviously care for your stepdaughter, but you can't provide for a child that is not your responsibility at the expense of your own children's well-being. Your husband's ex is trying to play on your emotions to manipulate you into making a decision that will put your little ones at risk for not being provided for. Don't fall for it. I can't. It just isn't happening. I can't even celebrate Christmas with my kids because every penny must be accounted for and I have bills to pay. I know she's trying to manipulate me, but it isn't happening. Paying child support is your soon-to-be ex-husband's responsibility, not yours. Block his ex so she can't contact you again. Not a a-hole. That child is not your responsibility. She needs to go after him for not paying the child support, not you. She can't go through the courts for that. That's the thing. If they need the money that bad, I would think she would use her lawyer or what have you to get her money. When my husband left, I applied for government assistance and had to provide his name and details to my caseworker, who did my SNAP/Medicaid interview. Legally, I would think it would be in her best interest to do what she can to get the child support she is owed for my stepdaughter. I cannot help he has decided not to pay. It sucks. I hate it. I'm struggling as it is to make sure my kids are taken care of. I can't take on this responsibility either. Not today, home. You have your own children to support right now. His child with his ex is his responsibility alone. However, it may be best for you to contact legal support and ensure you have no legal obligation due to being married, just to cover your bases. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for calling my brother's wife a neglectful, financially irresponsible wife? My female 32 brother male 36 had a serious accident in his truck 4 years ago, resulting in him becoming disabled and wheelchair-bound. My sister-in-law, his wife, used to be a stay-at-home wife. She is currently handling his care and are essentially living off his social security benefits payments, which admittedly isn't a lot, but my parents pay for the house's mortgage, so there's enough money to get them by. My sister-in-law and I have never really gotten along, but we stay civil. However, my biggest argument with her happened days ago, when she told us she was going to pursue her old job again, to be able to earn money. My parents and I were confused. We asked how she is going to go back to work when she has my disabled brother to care for. She told us she is going to hire a carer to handle all my brother's needs, which triggered a very negative reaction in me and my parents. I told her she chose to become a stay-at-home wife, but she explained that circumstances changed and she had to go back to work she left years ago to be able to provide for herself and my brother, and a carer is better qualified to care for my brother since she feels overwhelmed and exhausted. But I pointed out how a personal carer requires so much money, and that her new commitment of a job cannot be put before her husband. I told her it was a bad idea, but she argued that she is in this situation, not me, and she's trying to improve it while I'm just judging her from a distance. I told her she was wrong, since this is my brother we're talking about, and I help with the mortgage. So in response, I called her a neglectful, selfish, financially irresponsible wife for throwing money, my brother's money, away on a carer when it's unnecessary, and she is available, but she chose to go back to work. She acted shocked and lashed back at me, saying I shouldn't have called her those cruel things, and that I should show some empathy. I said I do have empathy for my brother and her too, but now that she's going to pay a carer using my brother's social security benefit, then I can't help but feel she's slowly checking out of her own marriage. She got highly offended that I questioned her love for my brother now that he's disabled, and left in a rush after calling me nuts and awful. My mom agreed partially with what I said, but told me I went out of line by calling her neglectful, especially since sister-in-law said she's wanting to go back to work to improve her living situation. But my dad is 100% on my side. Was I the a-hole, or was my reaction justified? Now for the judgment. Ooh boy, you're not going to enjoy this comment section. Yes, you're the a-hole. 1. Caregiver burnout is 100% real. Why not give your sister-in-law a break? And you care for your brother for a week, while she stays in a hotel. 2. She is probably trying to keep the marriage alive. Caring for somebody with disabilities is a lot like being a parent. It's not sexy. Breaking that dynamic by hiring a carer is probably the single best thing for their relationship. Not to mention increasing your brother's dignity. Did you ask what he thinks of this plan at any point? 3. Horrible as it sounds, permanently disabling injuries have a nasty tendency to reduce lifespan. Would you keep supporting your sister-in-law if your brother died? Does she know that? She needs a safety net, which means a job and a pension. Not your marriage, not your business, but to crack out. I actually really want an answer to number 3. If your brother passes away, will the financial support continue for the sister-in-law? If not, get the heck out of here. Also, what about if she hurts herself trying to move her husband? What will Opie do then? My sister messed up her back taking care of mom and she had help. What if she hurts the brother because she's not trained to care for serious disabilities? Hiring someone professionally trained seems like a great thing for the brother, as well as the sister-in-law, especially since the sister-in-law is willing to go back to work to help pay for the caregiver. Everyone is skimming over the fact that it's been 4 years. 4 years without help. God, this woman must be exhausted. Shame on you for judging her, Opie. You should be offering support instead of being such an A. You're the a-hole. You're the a-hole on every level, Opie. How is your sister-in-law neglectful for being willing to pay for a medical professional to do something they're trained for? How is she neglectful for trying to add money to your brothers and her household? If you're so worried about them paying for your brother's care, I expect you or your mom to step up and take him in. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for stopping my ex from meeting our son and intentionally sabotaging my dad? My ex ended our engagement unexpectedly and I still don't know why. I was pregnant at a time and he completely disappeared. Nobody would tell me where he was despite our families being friends and having many mutual friends. Everyone kept claiming they had no idea where he was, which I know is a lie. Well, he decided to show his face again. My dad told me he would be coming to our house for dinner to discuss business, and that he wanted to meet our son. At first, I was furious, and I told him there was no way I would let him meet my son. But after many arguments, I pretended to give in. The day he was supposed to come, I took my son to a friend's house for the night. I wasn't planning to go back home for the dinner because I didn't want to see my ex, but my friend suggested I go so that I knew what was being said. I don't regret going, but it was a crap show. My dad was pissed at me for hiding my son from my ex, and my ex was pissed at my dad for not being able to deliver what he promised. My ex was also pissed at me and claimed I couldn't keep him away from his son. I told him pigs would fly before I let him near my son. After my ex left, my dad threatened to kick me out for sabotaging things for the family. And he kept calling me a stupid girl and asking me why I couldn't just listen to him for once. My brother sided with him too, which surprised me because he always takes my side normally. Am I the a-hole? Not stay hole and get away from these crazy people as soon as you can. My God, the fact that your family knew where he was and wouldn't tell you, and that your father let him into your house after he abandoned you with a baby. No. And to add, the way this reads to me is that the grandfather, brother, and ex are using the baby as some sort of bargaining chip. It's odd how the grandfather phrased it and why he's even involved. This should only be between the two parents of the child, not the grandfather and Opie's brother. I think something more is going on. This is exactly how it reads to me. Why did your dad promise to your ex he could see your son? It sounds like your ex has been out of your child's life for years and suddenly wants to see him. It is very concerning your dad promised your ex could see your son in exchange for something, it sounds like. This is fishy. Your child is not a token to be promised in exchange for something. Info, did your ex know you were pregnant before he left? How long has your ex been gone? Also, what is the relationship between your ex and dad? Yes, almost 3 years. I assumed none, but my dad does business with his dad.